The Note 11 Pro falls under this category of mid-range. It has to be like the more expensive flagships, but cut some corners in order to cut down its price. And I can tell you right now the two areas that they cut. He muted me, didn't he? I guess you have to watch the entire video now. In terms of the build, we have the usual sacrifice, plastic instead of glass. It isn't much of a big deal because plastic is more durable, and I also do like the matte finish at the back. Design is preferential, but I think it's good looking. The matte back and glossy frame combo, the slight curves and indentation all around the phone, the slight curve on the display, which you definitely feel when using gestures, the very clicky buttons, the weight of the phone, and of course that camera module. So design again, it's okay. I mean, there are obviously downsides, like the size. It's a pretty tall phone. Even with my big hands, I found it very tasking to touch the corners of this huge display. So it's definitely not for everyone. I mean, if you like small and compact, you wouldn't like the Note 11 Pro. Also, the camera bump means it can't stay flat on a table, and it also rocks. And because of those curves I mentioned earlier, it's a pretty slippery phone. But of course, those aren't big problems. This video was made possible thanks to the guys at X Club. They actually sent me the Note 11 Pro and have been using it. So big shout out to them. They are basically a content sharing application available only on Android. If you actually use an Infinix device, you probably have seen that app on your phone. So yeah, you should definitely check it out. Shout out to the guys at X Club. If you didn't know, it's got its fingerprint sensor on the power button, and it's pretty accurate as well as fast. It also has a hybrid SIM card tray, and there's a headphone jack, a Type-C port, and best of all, dual stereo speakers, one at the bottom of the phone and the other just above the front-facing camera, which are really, really good. They're actually pretty loud. Okay, so let's talk about the first corner they cut, the display. If someone asks you to pick the ideal display spec, what would you go with? Chances are you would go with a relatively large display, at least 1080p resolution, maybe a high PPI, since it's 2022, a higher refresh rate, and I don't know, AMOLED, yeah, potentially. Well, the Note 11 Pro checks almost all of those boxes. It's a 6.9-inch 1080p 120Hz LCD display. LCD, not AMOLED. And sure, the display on here is nowhere near bad. It's color accurate, it's decently sharp, 120Hz refresh rate, let's not forget that, but it's not AMOLED. If you're a big fan of AMOLED displays like I am, then this might be a turnoff. But yeah, even though this doesn't have AMOLED, it does have 120Hz, and you're definitely going to enjoy that when you're gaming or just, scrolling around the display. Anyway, back to what I was saying about gaming. This phone handles games pretty well. All your favorite titles can be played, but as usual for this price range, not at the best graphics settings. Interesting fact, the G95 on the Note 10 Pro is actually better for gaming than the G96 on the Note 11 Pro, even though it's slightly better. But the Note 11 Pro does perform better in CPU performance. So things like multitasking were better on the Note 11 Pro. At this price point, you shouldn't be worried about apps closing in on you. And you really don't with this phone as well. So G96, 8GB of RAM, which by the way, with memory fusion, adds an extra 3GB, so that makes it 11, and 128GB of storage. Performance might actually be the strongest feature of this phone. We'll see if that's true. But the thing you see first is actually that camera module. It's a triple camera setup, a 64-megapixel main, 13-megapixel telephoto, and a 2-megapixel depth. Now, there was an ultra-wide on the Note 10 Pro, and they should have kept it on the 11 Pro as well. But because of that 2x telephoto, you are able to zoom in up to 30x. If you wanted to do that before. And like I always say, it's one of those features that you can show your friends and they will go, wow, that's cool. But the actual quality of it is not that great. So hopefully we get an ultra wide next time out. Anyway, the main attraction is the main 64 megapixel sensor. And quite simply, if the lighting conditions are good, the photos will be really good. And if not, it's hit or miss. Some photos I took surprised me, sharp, detailed, maybe a little low in saturation. And the same really for the selfie cameras. And then once it got dark, sometimes I thought, that's cool. And other times I thought, well, no. So night mode isn't it. But out in the sun, very, very good. It shoots video at 2K resolution.
Okay, so this is what video looks like on the Infinix Note 11 Pro. Color looks really good. This is currently shooting at 2K. It's actually not bad. Okay, so this is 1080p now. This is the only resolution that supports the ultra steady mode. Ooh, and I can already see how stable the footage is. Color looks nice. It appears to also only have one mic, so let me know how it sounds as well. But this is definitely way more stable than 2K.
Cameras on here, not bad. And I never really talk about this, but the flash is really bright. I believe it's a quad LED flash. So if you care a lot about a very, very bright flash, because this is Nigeria. But anyways, the camera isn't the second cut corner. It's actually the software. Now, the software is actually pretty good. I love the new look and animations and Falax, the voice assistant, which I made a video about. That's all great, but we got to at least have an extra year of software updates. I mean, no matter how good your smartphone is now, how does it fare in the future? Is there regular software updates? So I feel that's the final thing that Infinix kind of have to sort out. Get us 2, maybe 3 years of software updates, and then suddenly your phones become, well, a no-brainer. And finally, we have the battery life. Put simply, it might actually overtake performance as the best feature of this phone. 5,000 milliamp hours of battery and a 33-watt fast charger. On heavy days, plus 120 Hz, you might kill it before the end of the day. But on normal days with occasional gaming, music listening, texting, YouTube watching, it could last you for a day and a half. At least it did for me. And as far as charging goes, 0 to 100 in an hour and 15 minutes. That's really quick. So for 140,000 naira, you get an impressive build and design, almost perfect display. Same could be said for performance. Great photos in daylight, not so much at nighttime. Love the software, but lack of updates. And then there's that impeccable battery and charging. So it actually does really well in nailing the major 5, features. But I think it's early 2022. There are a bunch of new devices that we're expecting. So before you go out and spend 140,000 naira, maybe just chill a bit. See what the other guys have to bring in store, huh? Let's see what the other guys have to do. But yeah, it's 2022, early 2022. We are expecting a bunch of new devices. So yeah, I think before you go out to buy, the Note 11 Pro, maybe just chill a bit and see what the other guys come up with. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you when you see me.